Hey, what is going on, everybody? This is Beanie and welcome back to another video. Guys, I'm so excited to start this new series. It's a series that I kind of planned on starting earlier in the year, but we didn't really get as much content early on as I thought we were going to, so I had to wait a little bit later just to get enough players to really make this series make sense. But I'm starting it. I'm starting the first edition of 2018's Top 10 Positional Player Lists. And I'm going to be starting out today with catcher. We're going to be going over the top 10 catchers currently in MLB The Show. But a few things before we start. First, I do plan on redoing this list once there are more players available and stuff like that. Two, I'm only going to be doing this off of primary positions, so no secondary positions. So that means no Victor Martinez, no Pablo Sandoval, nobody like that just has a secondary at catcher. And thirdly, I'm only going to be doing players that are available to play with right now. So that means outside of Vladimir Guerrero, there will be no Immortals in this list. The only reason I'm doing this is just because nobody really has any experience with these Immortals, and it adds a little bit of suspension to the whole thing, because everybody would know at whatever given position that the Immortal would be the best player. So I don't really want to do that. I want to just keep it right now until we get some more Immortals and that we're actually able to play with them. I'm just going to keep them out of it and do all the other guys, except at right field, where we have Vlad. So yeah, guys, that is it, and let's go ahead and get into the top 10. Okay, first off, we're going to start out with an honorable mention. This guy just missed the top 10. He's basically my number 11, and it's the 87 overall Carlton Fisk. I like this card. He's got okay defense, nothing to write home about, and against righties, he is a very solid hitter. The only thing that kept me from putting him on the list is that he just wasn't quite good enough against lefties, and a right-handed bat that only hits righties good, I tend to find that a little bit less valuable than maybe a lefty who does that. So yeah, Carlton Fisk, he just missed the list. His defense wasn't enough to overcome that, so he slots in at number 11. Okay, now this next pick was very difficult between Mejia and Fisk, but I ended up going with Mejia for a few reasons. One, he is a switch hitter, and you guys know that I love my switch hitters. Two, you don't really lose that much in the power department. Against righties, he's significantly less powerful, but he's also significantly more powerful versus lefties. And he is a switch hitter. He hits well from both sides. He's a very balanced hitter. And defensively, he looks a lot like Fisk, except he has a much stronger arm. And I think at catcher, this year especially, arm strength is probably the most important aspect of being a catcher in this year's game. So that kind of pushed Mejia over the edge and got him into the top 10. Okay, next up is the 87 overall Russell Martin. And now this is a very, very good defensive card that actually has a good amount of speed for a catcher, but he's not a complete nothing with the bat either. Especially against lefties, he's actually almost elite. He's borderline elite versus lefties with 107, 80, with 80 vision. The big downfall to this card, and the reason I can't rank him any higher, is simply that power versus righties is just too bad. 49 is not good, and that's going to be something that you have to take into consideration with this card. Is it worth it sacrificing all of those at-bats against righties in order to get this defense, this speed relative for most catchers, and this lefty pop? I think that this card probably works a little bit better if you have a platoon guy at catcher, maybe a lefty like a Brian McCann or a Miguel Montero or someone like that. This card probably works better in that capacity, but because of the defense, I could definitely see justifying starting this card as well. Okay, and at number 8, we have the 86 overall Brian McCann, and this guy would be perfect to partner with that Russell Martin card. Start the McCann versus righties, start the Martin, or sub in the Martin versus lefties, however you wanted to do it. I love this card. He is a righty killer. He has 88 vision with 97 contact, no PCI issues versus righties whatsoever. 78 power is plenty enough to get the job done, and against lefties, with that 88 vision, he's not going to be a complete nothing, but, you know, it probably is a good idea to have that backup option that hits lefties well sitting on the bench for you. And yeah, so I really think that if you paired up the McCann and the Martin, it would end up being a very formidable duo for you. Defensively, this McCann isn't going to give you a lot. He's not all that fast. He doesn't have that strong of an arm. But you know me, I've always said throughout the years that catcher defense is kind of weird. It's not the most important thing, but this year they seem to be focusing on making it a little bit more important this year. And because of that, I want to give just a little bit more weight to catcher defense than I have in the past. I don't know if that's necessarily correct. I don't know. I mean, it's totally possible that this is all in my mind and catcher defense is not as important as it has been in the past, but it's just as important as it was in the past, which was very little. It didn't matter that much at all. But it just, in my hands, it feels like it is a little bit more important this year. So I'm going to give a little bit of weight to that in these rankings, but I still definitely value offense over defense if it comes down to it. Okay, now this was a very weird pick for me because typically I don't go for cards like this, but I really couldn't discount this Posey, mostly because last year you guys told me that you wanted me to really start taking quirks into consideration and stuff like that. And this guy has some really interesting quirks. He has two active quirks. He hits breaking balls really well, and he performs really good when your team is behind. That's kind of a big deal. You know, the Rally Monkey quirk is one of the better quirks in the game because it's going to be very often that you find yourself in a hole and you need guys to come through in the clutch, and this guy can do that for you. But overall, offensively, he's basically a pure contact guy at this point. He has a little bit of power versus lefties, but you're not getting this card to hit a ton of home runs for you. You're getting him to have a big PCI, to rarely strike out, to put the ball in play, to make things happen that way. And defensively, he's going to be fine. He doesn't have the strongest arm in the world, so, you know, that is probably the most important thing that goes into defense, but he is really reliable back there behind the plate. He has good blocking, so not a lot is going to be getting past him. So overall, just a really solid card, but nothing too great. Catcher really isn't all that deep so far this year, but they've put in a lot of new guys into the game that I could see catcher getting deeper and deeper as we get later into the year. Okay, at number 6, we have probably my early game, like early in the year. This is probably my favorite catcher in the game, the 86 overall Jorge Posada. You are not getting this guy for defense. He probably has the worst defense of anyone. Actually, no, that's not true. He doesn't have the worst defense of anyone on this list. That's not even close to true. But he's an offensive play, basically. He's not that good defensively. And you're getting this card because you need a switch hitter in your lineup. You need a balanced hitter that can hit both lefties and righties to balance out your lineup. This guy isn't going to do anything spectacular. He's not going to hit 500-foot bombs for you, but he's going to be super reliable at the plate. He's going to hit lefties well. He's going to hit righties well. He'll provide you a little bit of gap power from time to time, but he's not going to strike out a ton, and he's going to make solid contact very often for you. I love this card. I think he's definitely worth going after if you're in need of a catcher, and he's not that difficult to acquire. So yeah, keep Jorge Posada in mind if you are in need for a catcher, because I think he's one of the more underrated guys in this year's game. Okay, moving on into the top 5. Let me just say that the top 5 were very, very, very close, and a lot of it just depends on what you value the most. And you guys will come to find out what I value the most once you see it. But starting out at number 5 is the 92 overall Gary Carter. And there are a lot of similarities between this card and another card that we're going to talk about in just a minute. But I decided to put that other card above this Gary Carter. This Gary Carter has really... probably the second best defensive catcher out of anyone on this list. He has very good arm strength, very good blocking. He's reliable back there. He's going to make plays for you. Hitting-wise, he's going to be very solid versus both sides. Right now, he happens to be my starting catcher, but I'm kind of alternating between him and another guy. Versus lefties, he's going to murder the ball. He's going to be one of your best hitters versus lefties. And he has really high vision, too, so you're not going to have any PCI issues. Against righties, he's solid. He's not the best. He's kind of like that Posada. He's going to have a little bit of gap power, but he's not going to be a superstar versus righties. You're getting this card so he can murder lefties, be respectable versus righties, and play excellent defense for you. For that, he earns a spot in the top 5. Okay, and at number 4, we have the 88 overall Mike Piazza. Once again, an offensive-minded play. But this guy is a little bit different from that Posada in the fact that he is balanced, but he's more focused on power than he is on contact. Him and the Posada have similar strikeout rate, similar vision, but this Piazza is really going to provide that pop that you need out of the catcher spot. He's one of the more powerful catchers in the game. And for that reason, I had to put him in the top 5. And I thought about putting him even higher just because he is so balanced across the board offensively. But that defense really isn't that good. He has decent blocking, so there isn't going to be a lot that gets past him. But he's not going to be able to throw out that many guys. He is going to struggle a little bit defensively. But you're getting, it's Mike Piazza. You're getting this guy to be an elite offensive catcher. And that's what I think you'll get whenever you pick up this card. So yeah, Mike Piazza at number 4. Okay, now here's one of the most polarizing cards in the game, the 93 overall Yadier Molina. You will, I swear, you can ask 50 different top players their opinion on this Yadier Molina, and you will get 50 different opinions. Some people love him, some people hate him, some people think he's just okay. It's all over the place, and I tend to fall in the really good category. I think that this is a great card. Yeah, he doesn't have the pop that you typically want in your lineup, but at catcher, it's very, very, very difficult to get that pop and still have like decent defense and good contact and stuff like that. It's not always the easiest thing. So if you're a guy that values defense a little bit more, this is your guy. This is this is probably going to be your end of the year card. It doesn't get better than this. He has 95 fielding, 95 blocking, 99 arm strength. He's going to be throwing out base runners left and right. And that's going to be a very, very valuable part of your team. And the great thing is that you don't have to sacrifice that much offense to get it. He has fantastic vision, fantastic contact. Only place where he really kind of lags behind a little bit is in the power department, and it's not even that bad. He has 61 power versus right, 72 power versus left. That's perfectly reasonable. He's going to be a perfectly reasonable bat in your lineup. He's going to do some good things for you. So yeah, if you're trying to grind Conquest Extreme and you're able to pick up this card, I think that it's going to be worth it. Him and the Matt Kemp, definitely going to be worth it. Two very intriguing, very good cards. Okay, and at number 2, we actually have a bit of a surprise. We have a gold player. It's the 84 overall Gary Sanchez. And once again, this is just a pure, unadulterated offensive power play. The Gary Sanchez is an absolute mammoth monster. Any superlative you want to throw at him, he deserves it because he is going to hit a ton of home runs for you. And he also has decent contact versus righties and an average contact versus lefties. The vision, I would like it if the vision got up a little bit, but this guy's a monster. I seriously debated putting him at number 1, but I just liked him a little bit less than the next guy. even though this Gary Sanchez does have great arm strength to go with it. So, I mean, it's not going to be super easy to run on this guy. He might let some pass balls get by. He might not be that reliable in the field. But the most important thing, throwing out base runners, he's going to be fine at that. And he has, and like I said, man, he just has a ton of power to go along with it. And he also has this quirk right here. Well, two quirks where he hits really well on the road and he excels at hitting with 2 strikes. So that's another benefit of the 84 overall Gary Sanchez. Overall, just a fantastic player and pretty cheap too. You can get this card for about 10,000 stubs on the market right now. So that is a very cheap, very good solution to catcher if you're in need of one. Okay, now I think I'm going to get a lot of pushback for this pick over the Gary Sanchez, maybe from some people over the Yadier Molina, but I just personally, I like this 85 overall Mike Napoli better than any catcher in the game at the moment. I just love how balanced he is offensively. 84, 84, 92, 91. Kind of like with the Sanchez, I'd like it if the vision came up a little bit, but I can deal with that low vision whenever he just has these monster attributes offensively. And basically the balance is the thing that sold me over the Sanchez. I'm still of the belief that contact is an important attribute in this game, especially with this new patch where you really have to start squaring things up really good if you want to start tapping into that power. I would feel more comfortable at the plate hitting against lefties with this guy than I would against that Sanchez. So, yeah, I like the Mike Napoli's bat just a little bit better. Now, there is a good argument to be made that the bat doesn't overcome the fact that the Sanchez has much better arm strength, and I can see that argument, but this Napoli also has better fielding and I believe better blocking. So, to me, that's kind of a wash. And so it just kind of came down to who had the better bat. And for me, personally, it was the Mike Napoli. Maybe Gary Sanchez's quirks push him over the edge for you, but for me, it's the Napoli. But that's gonna do it for this video, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments. Who did I get right? Who did I get wrong? Let me know. I want to have a discussion about this. And comments help me out a lot, believe it or not. Even negative ones. If you think I'm a faggot, just type that in the comment. It actually does really help me out. So yeah, leave a like on the video if you liked it. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. And I will see you legends later. Peace.